right, so again, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. So to get us started, tell me about yourself. Who are you? What are you passionate about in games?
All right. My name is Kai. I am an undergraduate student at USC in the games department. Let's see, a little bit about me. I am from the San Francisco Bay Area. I was born and raised in Oakland, California, and came down to Los Angeles for school. And sort of at the beginning, like I was, scared or worried because I was like, am I going to be good enough? Or like the sort of imposter syndrome of when you get somewhere where everybody's, really, really good at what they do. But like within like the first couple semesters, I started like getting to show my games in places and, getting to like make content that like I was proud of in a way that like really helped me understand and like see the impact of like my growing skills. So I mean, I just really love sharing the things that I make with the world. It's been a wild ride, and with USC Games, like it's not just about like making games, it's about like getting to show them to everyone else. So we have like the expo, and we have like the festival coordination office. So you can go and ask, hey, I've made this cool game, I want to show it to people. What do I do next? And sort of what's next step of like not only just getting to like learn how to make stuff, but like getting to take it forward has been like a really big thing for me. Let's see, nationalities wise, I am half Black, half Asian, which is sort of a weird thing to say because like it's sort of, you can't really say that you're like half anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, sort of growing up, like I have a very mixed set of facial features. And so like when I'm in the Asian communities, they're always like, oh, you're Asian, but you're also something else. What is that something else? And then when you're in the Black communities, it's like, oh, you're Black, but you're also something else. What is that something else? And so I think for me, for Black History Month, it's really been about like embracing the fact that I am Black, but I'm also an intersection of things. That I'm also queer, and I'm also, all these other things that make up one person. And so letting myself define myself as just me, and whatever mix that is has been sort of a thing that's been on my mind this month.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I want to go back to what you said about, coming here with, imposter syndrome. I feel like that's something that we see so many students coming in with, feeling that they're too small of a fish to be in such a big pond. But no, it's I feel like USC Games is such a welcoming place for everyone. And thank you for talking about your identity. So you said that's what Black History Month means to you. How do you feel, what do you feel like the significance of Black History Month is in the context of the games industry professionally?
Yeah, so like the games industry historically has been not as welcoming to underrepresented groups. And one of the things that I'm sort of finding out is that there are a lot of contributions already from the Black community that they just don't talk about. And so like, Jerry Lawson and like all these other people have like made so many contributions to the hardware and the technology and sort of just the cutting edge stuff that we all want to work on and we want to sort of use to push the game industry forward. Like Black people have already been doing that, but like we weren't talked about and we weren't celebrated. And so in terms of the games industry, like it's a reflection for me to look at like what are the things that we want to highlight, what are the people that we want to celebrate, because it's like the rest of the industry isn't always going to celebrate for us. And so making sure that we're spreading this information and being educational during this month is really important, because it's not something that is easy to find. Like you have to dig to find this stuff, and it's crazy that you have to dig because they're significant contributions.
Right.
But sort of in the context of the game industry, I think that the big thing is making sure that people know that we are here, we are in the industry, and it's not like you can't find us. It's we're there. You just have to look.
That's so important. And how would you say your identity as someone who is Black, among other things, a lot of other things, right? How does that intersect with your identity as a game developer and all of your other identities?
Yeah, I think.
And how does that shape your experience?
I think there's a lot of pressure within the Black game development community to make games about Black trauma and make games about the quote unquote Black struggle. And all of the big articles around this time of year are always like, oh, person makes a game about Black experiences.
Right.
And I always thought that was kind of odd because like everybody's making a wide range of games. And so like, I don't want to be defined by just my Black experience. I want to be defined as a game developer who's good at what she does. And so, you know, when I make a silly mobile game that goes viral on Twitch or, you know, or on TikTok, or I get to go to GDC as a speaker and talk about sort of post-morteming some of the content I've made. The big thing for me is that the headline will always be Black woman does blank.
Right.
And there's always that qualifier. And it's frustrating because then you sort of get this feeling in your heart that's like, are they really talking about me because of the skill and things that I've done? Or are they talking about me within the context of this Black qualifier? So among Black women in the game industry, Kai is doing these amazing things. When I think that there shouldn't be that qualifier there. It should just be like Kai's this game developer that's doing amazing things, and you don't have to limit it or qualify it within the context of Black History Month. So yes, I am a Black woman, and yes, there's this experience here that, you know, I have a lot of these shared lived experiences with other people in the Black community. But it shouldn't always be about our trauma. It shouldn't always be about growing up low income. It shouldn't always be about the struggles we faced. It should also be about, you know, the wins that we've had, and, you know, like making sure that we're uplifting these creators and uplifting the content they're making, and not giving it just that qualifier that we're just as much a game developer as anyone else in the industry.
Thank you so much. That was so insightful.
Yeah.
And one last question. Who is a Black hero, either from a game or real life, who inspires you? Now, this could be anyone. Last time we had someone say their mom, which I thought was the sweetest thing ever.
Lizette Teatree, I'll send you her bio. She's art director at Double Fine. And so when I was first getting into games, I did an after-school program that taught game development in Oakland. And it was very much focused on the experience of being a minority in tech and like how to navigate that. And they give you mentors and they help you, you know, learn how to prototype and sort of like get your feet underneath you. And I remember walking into that space and being like, yeah, this is a cool after school program, but like, I want to focus on my career. And after even just one or two meetings, I realized that it wasn't just an after school space. It wasn't just like a place where you went to do your homework. It was a place where you could actually find mentorship of people in industry, and you could like actually make the connections with other people of color in the game space. And I met Lizette there. She was doing some art classes. We were doing like, I think it was like walk cycles or something. We were doing some 2D animation. And I remember at the time I was like, really struggling to figure out like what I wanted to do and like whether or not I felt I was good enough to do it. And I messaged her and I was like, hey, I'm not sure what I want to do, but I really want to be a part of this industry. Can we talk more? And she's been like a really amazing mentor, sort of touchstone as I grow from a hobby developer who didn't know what she was doing to, you know, a student developer who's making student games to now an industry. To be able to have someone that has that perspective and has gone through that imposter syndrome and has had that experience of being the only person that looks like her in a room. And you know, when I have to go into those meetings now, when I'm in industry and like making games professionally, like in my head, there's always that, what would Lizette do? She sort of carries herself with like such, I want to say like grace, but then also like optimism. Like she's really focused on making she's really focused on making everyone see that there's a path forward for them. And that like she's not shy of coming to you and celebrating your wins with you and making sure that you know that you feel supported and loved and cared for within this industry. You know, it's a high stress industry and there's like, you know, these big stakes of like, people talk about crunch and people talk about like studio closures and stuff, but like making sure that you have that strong support system and community is really, really what's important. And she's been so integral to that for me and then a lot of the other students of the program.